Guys, only about 50% of the people who watch my videos are subscribed, so if you enjoy watching these every week, feel free to subscribe as well. I talk about countries a lot on the channel. Countries that no longer exist, countries that could exist, or countries that want to exist. But in between those three, in the middle of this triangle, is another type of country. Countries that do exist and are fully, or at least in part, independent and sovereign, which have their existence recognized by many other nations, but not by all of them. These are the partially recognized countries of the world. Official countries, but not with every other nation's acceptance. The best criteria for us to look at this is through their status regarding the UN. And here, they are divided into three types. Those who are UN members, but aren't recognized by some of the other members. Those who are not UN members, but being observers, which some UN nations recognize as being sovereign countries. And those who are neither UN members nor UN observers, but which still have recognition by some countries throughout the world. Doing some research, I found 15 countries that fit one of these three descriptions and are collectively the partially recognized countries of the world. A good number of them, 8, have this disputed recognition amongst each other. And the best example of that are the first ones on our list, China and Taiwan. The People's Republic of China, which we usually refer to as just China, was proclaimed in 1949. And we call it China because it is the more widely recognized of the two claimants, the other being the Republic of China, also known as Taiwan. The United Nations recognized the Republic of China as the sole representative of China until 1971, when it decided to give this recognition to the People's Republic instead. China and Taiwan come from the two opposing sides in China's internal conflict, and they do not recognize each other's statehood. 14 UN members, as well as the Vatican, recognize Taiwan as the sole legitimate government of China. Bhutan is the only UN member state that has never explicitly recognized either. In this map, we can see it. The countries in beige maintain formal diplomatic relations with the People's Republic only, but have informal diplomatic channels with Taiwan. The ones in orange do not even have these informal relations, not recognizing Taiwan at all, while the ones in blue, the 14 I just mentioned, only have formal relations with Taiwan. Two examples are Paraguay or Haiti. The reason why is precisely the one China policy that each of them enforces, where if one country wants to please China, they have to be exclusive in their recognition, leaving out Taiwan, or vice versa, a situation that is often circumvented by unofficial relations, unofficial embassies, which become de facto recognitions. Palestine and Israel are a similar but not exactly the same situation. Similar because they are two states who exist in the same area, kind of. I'm not getting into the entire occupation and conflict that exists here. The point is only to understand how and why these two are only partially recognized countries. There are three different realities when it comes to the recognition of each of these two states. Countries that only recognize Israel, countries that only recognize Palestine, and countries that recognize both and defend a two-state solution. This map by Trampoline Bears on Reddit provides us with the whole picture. In purple are countries which recognize the two states, in blue those who only recognize Israel, and in red those who only recognize Palestine. By this we can conclude that both countries are only partially recognized. However, most of the world recognizes both, with only small groups, blue and red, siding with only one. 28 UN members don't recognize Israel, while 55 do not recognize Palestine. Although we should point out that in Europe, many others are moving forward with the recognition of Palestine as well. Portugal, Spain, France, Belgium, Greece, Ireland, and the United Kingdom. Before we keep going with the video, a quick 1-minute message from today's sponsor, Blinkist. Blinkist sponsors a lot of videos on the channel. If you are a regular watcher, you'll know this. And the reason why is that they're actually a great service, and one that I use all the time. Sometimes even getting ideas for videos from there. Blinkist is an app that takes thousands of non-fiction books and condenses them into around 15-minute summaries that you can read or listen to. Reading is one of the best things you can do to learn, and it sucks that nowadays we all live such fast-paced lives and have such short attention spans, at least I know I do, that we end up not having the time or patience to sit down and pick up a book for a few hours. Blinkist allows us to still get to read and learn without spending too much time doing so. Right now, I'm listening to this book, which is about the rise and fall of the British Empire and the consequences it had and has still in our world today. The first 100 people to go to Blinkist.com/general knowledge will get a free 1-week trial and 25% off if you choose to continue the membership after that. Now, back to the video. North and South Korea are another example. South Korea considers itself to be the sole legitimate government of Korea and claims all territory controlled by the North. And precisely the North, officially the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, independent since 1948, is not recognized by only 3 UN members: France, Japan, and South Korea, and also Taiwan, which isn't a UN member. However, and interestingly, as opposed to the China versus Taiwan situation, South Korea does not demand a one Korea policy, and that other states do not recognize the North. However, they themselves do not, due to their claim over the entire peninsula. Japan and Taiwan sided with the South on this issue and therefore do not recognize the North either. Japan mostly due to the threats and military provocations that it has constantly received from them, and Taiwan probably in solidarity due to their situation with mainland China. When it comes to France, it just never established official relations with it, partly on the ground of the North's poor human rights records and weapons programs. When it comes to the South, the only UN member that doesn't recognize it is the North. Cyprus and Northern Cyprus are next. The Republic of Cyprus is independent since 1960, and it's recognized by the entire world except by Turkey and also the non-UN member of Northern Cyprus itself, referred by many as a Turkish puppet state in the northern half of the island. Northern Cyprus declared its independence in 1983, with its official name being the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, and is only recognized as a state by Turkey itself. The reason why is that both Cyprus and Northern Cyprus/Turkey dispute sovereignty over the entire island, with Cyprus being supported and with a strong connection to Greece. Sahrawi in Africa is next. In 1975, Morocco invaded and annexed Western Sahara, forcing Spain out. However, in 1976, the territory unilaterally declared its independence as the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. The government rules from exile in Algeria and claims all of Western Sahara, even though they only control a small part of it, which we can see on the map here. They are recognized by 39 UN members. 45 other have recognized it in the past, but suspending their recognition pending the outcome of a referendum on self-determination. It is, however, a full member of the African Union, while the Arab League instead supports Moroccan claims. Other than Morocco and the United States, no country in the world officially recognizes Moroccan sovereignty over the region, and it's also listed on the UN list of non-self-governing territories. So if no one recognizes Moroccan claims, why not recognize Sahrawi's independence? Maybe they don't see any benefit in it and don't want to anger Morocco? Then Kosovo. Kosovo declared its independence from Serbia in 2008 and is currently recognized by 98 UN members as well as Taiwan. 10 other UN members have recognized Kosovo and subsequently withdrawn recognition, the ones in red on this map. I couldn't find out why these withdrawals took place. The United Nations has administered the territory since 1999 with cooperation from the European Union since 2008. Kosovo is a member of the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank Group, the International Olympic Committee, among others, which makes it very close to being fully recognized. However, there aren't many countries worldwide that officially recognize it, only the ones we see here in green, with notable absences. One that caught my attention especially was Spain, as well as much of Latin America and Asia. The reason why many countries don't recognize it is that Serbia continues to claim it as their own. It was a unilateral declaration of independence. They do, however, finally have diplomatic dialogue and cooperation between the two, so maybe further recognition of Kosovo will come in the future. A little further northeast, Transnistria, or officially the Pridnestrovian Moldovan Republic. It declared its independence in 1990 and is recognized only by 3 non-UN members: Abkhazia, Artsakh, and South Ossetia. 3 countries we'll cover next. Transnistria is a breakaway state from Moldova. The region's origins can be traced to the Moldavian Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic, which was formed in 1924. Probably why their flag very much reminds us of those times. Apparently, in 1990, when the USSR dissolved, they declared independence in hopes of remaining under Russian rule, with fear that Moldova would reunite itself with Romania, or, as they did, also become independent. A military conflict with Moldova started in 1992 and was concluded by a ceasefire soon after. As a part of that agreement, Russia, Moldova, Transnistria Joint Control Commission supervises the security arrangements in what is now a demilitarized zone. Although the ceasefire is held, the territory's political status remains unresolved, with it being an independent country although unrecognized as such. All the way in the Caucasus region, we have a few partially recognized countries. First, South Ossetia, a separatist region of Georgia, which with the support of Russia achieved independence. Although it's a questionable independence, likely under strict Russian control, South Ossetia declared its independence in 1991 and is currently recognized by only 5 UN member states, with all others, including Georgia itself, not recognizing it as a country. Abkhazia has a very similar situation, declaring its independence in 1999 and being recognized by only the same 5 countries that recognize South Ossetia, with the addition of Vanuatu, I think it's some Pacific island. It's also a separatist part of Georgia and also achieved independence with Russian support. In August of 2008, the Parliament of Georgia declared Abkhazia a Russian-occupied territory, a position agreed to by most UN members. Essentially, these seem like Russian attempts to reclaim control, or at least influence, over the region, with Georgia being unable to fight off Russian military, but with the international pressure being strong enough to stop Russia from fully invading. Armenia is also technically not fully recognized, although only by one country, and as opposed to what you might think, it's not Turkey. Turkey did recognize Armenia as a country despite not having diplomatic relations with them, as is the case with Saudi Arabia, Yemen, South Sudan, Hungary, Botswana, Lesotho, Azerbaijan, Papua New Guinea, and Pakistan. And it's precisely Pakistan which does not recognize Armenia as an independent country. The reason why is that Pakistan supported Azerbaijan since the first Nagorno-Karabakh war, and since then they have tense relations with the country, therefore never recognizing it. Speaking of which, the Republic of Artsakh, formerly known as the Nagorno-Karabakh Republic, declared its independence in 1991. It is recognized by 3 non-UN members, Abkhazia, South Ossetia, and Transnistria, but officially and in the eyes of all other countries, it is a part of Azerbaijan. Finally, back in Africa, Somaliland. Somaliland declared its independence in 1991. It claims to be the successor to the state of Somaliland, a short-lived sovereign state that existed in 1960 for a few months when the British Somaliland Protectorate gained full independence from the UK. This state soon united with Somalia to form the Somali Republic, having existed for a while together until Somaliland decided to be independent again. It's not officially recognized by any state, even though it maintains unofficial relations with several UN member countries, and the chaos that Somalia is in has helped it gain some credibility as its own country, but Somalia still claims it as part of their territory. So, those are the partially recognized countries of the world. Nations that either exist in conflict with their immediate neighbor, each claiming sovereignty over the other's land, like it is the case with China and Taiwan for instance, others who are effectively separatist movements, which have succeeded in conquering local power but are still not recognized by the entire world, although being recognized by some, and also countries which represent local minorities, or just people who have conquered their local sovereignty because they differ from those who control or claim control over their land. Did I forget any other partially recognized country? Let me know in the comments. Remember to subscribe if you want, and I will see you next time for more general knowledge.